The Honda Accord Crosstour represents a new segment in the automotive industry. A handful of manufacturers are building these big hatchbacks with all-wheel drive for wintertime traction and the hatchback improving cargo utility. Now those assets, they sound pretty familiar to SUV owners, but these cars aim to be more stylish, perhaps more economical and fun to drive, all while avoiding the dorky stigma that station wagons have long suffered from. So, is the Honda Accord Crosstour a jack of all trades or a master of none? Now the Crosstour builds off of the assets of the Honda Accord. That's one of our top-rated family sedans. It shares the Accord's 3.5-liter V6 engine. It's smooth, it's refined, it delivers plenty of power. We got 20 miles per gallon overall in our test with the Accord Crosstour. Now that's not too bad if you compare it to an SUV. Now don't expect the relatively nimble feel of the Accord sedan here in the Crosstour. Turn-in response, it's pretty prompt, nothing to complain about there. But the steering weighting, it's a bit on the light side. It feels a bit disconnected. It doesn't give you the feedback you'd really like. When we pushed the Crosstour to its limits here at our track, we found that it handled more like an SUV instead of like a sedan. There's quite a bit of body lean, and its speed through our avoidance maneuver test, well, it was pretty modest, with so-so confidence. On the plus side, the Crosstour rides pretty well, with good isolation. It's a steady and composed highway cruiser. The Crosstour is also fairly quiet inside. That's something of a surprise because Hondas, well, they're known for having quite a bit of road noise. The Crosstour controls it pretty well, although some of it still bubbles in from the back. A frustration to driving the Crosstour, though, is visibility. That's actually pretty good to the front and the sides. There's good glass area here, pretty narrow pillar. But when you look towards the back, there's a big roof pillar, the roof curves in, and the head restraints, they all add up to create a blind spot when you look over your shoulder. Now the Crosstour has a split back window. That upper window, because of its slope, you have a fairly short effective viewing area. The bottom window, it's not covered by the rear wiper, so it can get covered by water or grime. That limits your view out the back. Now it would be nice if you could get a backup camera, but you have to buy the optional navigation system. That's pretty galling for a $34,000 car. The Crosstour basically uses the same dashboard as the Accord. Now the controls are pretty simple, but there is a bit of room for improvement here. There's a lot of buttons. They all look the same. They're spread out across the dashboard. But the fact that the buttons are large and well labeled, that makes up for some of that. Inside, you'll find there's a few annoying omissions. For $34,000, we'd like to have a fuel economy and a range to empty display. Also, the outside temperature, you have to toggle through the odometer display. We don't understand why they don't just put it in the big screen in the middle of the dashboard. On the plus side, there's a really roomy driving position. Even tall people fit well here. There's plenty of space, and the tilt and telescope steering wheel, it has a large range of adjustment. The large front seats, they're supportive and comfortable. The back seats are roomy and comfortable as well. The hatchback body style, it makes it easy to load cargo in the back. Plus the rear seats, they fold just by pulling a handle. But the sloped body style, it limits what you can fit in the back. Also, there's quite a bit of intrusion from the sides, so you get a narrow load floor. There are some nice touches back here. Nice Berber carpet, and hidden underneath the floor, a bit of a surprise. There's a pull-out cargo bin. So the Crosstour proves difficult to classify. Some people will love the styling, others will hate it. The car's pretty pleasant to drive, but it's not as nimble as Honda's other sedans. And the styling, well, it does cause some sacrifices in visibility and cargo space. In the end, we're left with a nagging question. What would have happened if Honda did something uncool and just made an Accord station wagon?